Welcome back to the channel, guys. Thank you for joining me once again. I was away for a couple weeks because I had a birthday. I was taking some courses and stuff like that, but we're back at it again. If this is your first time here on the channel and you like all things EDC, gun, gear, everyday carry items, subscribe down below for more stuff. We got a lot of stuff coming down the pike. I got a good one for you here today. Today we're going over this beauty you see here. This is the Canik TP9SA Mod 2, chambered in 9mm. It's a full-size gun. Take a look there. She's looking good. So let's head on down to the tabletop and see what she comes with. So here she is in all her glory. I also have the case here because, as most of you know, Canik does send out a good little package for the budget price that this gun comes with. So let's go ahead and open this thing and see everything that it comes with. Let me give you one more look at her. This is a good looking pistol. It's actually a very budget option, so I'll include the cheapest price I can find. I'll throw a screenshot in there for you guys and maybe put a link down in the description. So let's put that to the side. Let's turn this case around and see what you got. As you can tell, it's already a hard case. It's already got holes here for when you slide these closed. You can put some locks there, as you can see there. So you slide these open all the way that way. And here we go. You can see initially there, you got some nice cutouts in the foam. You got the cleaning brush. You got the little plastic push and pull for your cleaning fabrics. There's also some more cutouts here for different things. You got a back strap that comes in here because, as you can tell, the back strap on this pistol is removable, so you can switch the sizes here. So let's flip it on over. You got a little envelope here with a couple little accessories in there. Quality control badge. You got some other things like the manual and stuff like that. You just put that to the side for now. They took the time to put this little logo here, so I think we can all appreciate that. Stuff that other companies aren't doing. They're not even charging extra for this. These are nice budget pistols. So as you can see here, look at this thing. It's got a custom cutout for the pistol. Comes with the holster when you buy it. This is an inside the waistband holster, which I imagine could be modified to go the other way, outside the waistband. Let's see what you got here. So you got a trigger safety here that you can put into the trigger. Let's open this thing up. So you can put this thing into the trigger guard, lock the trigger guard, keep other people from using this weapon that aren't authorized. So that's always good. I mean, most people I suspect probably aren't going to use this thing. Better options in this thing. It feels plastic, so plastic, I mean, can easily be broken into. A little key with it that you can use to screw and unscrew this thing. You got the little control trigger safety manual there. You got a little piece of paper here that shows you how to switch out the back panel on it, the rear grip panel. You got a little tool in here, a little Allen key. And then you also have an extra magazine in here that comes with a speed loader. As you can see here, these are 18 round magazines, so you can carry 18+1 in this pistol. And as you can tell, there's already one in here. So 2 18 round magazines, which I think is fantastic. Speed loaders are always good. After a long day at the range, those thumbs can start hurting. So that's always good to have one of those. So let's move this case on out of the way and let's talk about this pistol. So as you can see here, this is again a 9mm pistol. It is a full-size pistol. It definitely feels bigger than my Glock 19. So let's go over this thing from front to back and see all she has to offer. So first and foremost, you can see it's a full-size slide up here, 9x19, so 9mm. So pretty good recoil on these full-size guns when it's only 9mm. A lot of frame to absorb the recoil. So if we go up top here, we see we got what they call the Warren 3-dot sights, which, let me see if I can line it up. Looks pretty good. I think this little back U-notch here is kind of big in order to get some precise shots, but I'm sure it does what it has to do. I'll be taking this thing down to the range later, so I'll give you some first shots and impressions and overview as far as how it shoots. So you got a full-size slide here that is what they call Tenefer over Cerakote finish. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but standard slide, obviously it didn't come this way, guys. The slide was painted to be a different color there. So this thing usually comes full black. I'll roll in a photo of that. As you can see in the front here, you actually got a 3-slot Picatinny rail. So that's always good to have. It's a universal fit for lights, lasers, all kinds of things. If you want to have a bayonet here on the front, you can do that too. As you can see here, they got the takedown levers. So just like a Glock, you would pull this thing back about a 1/4 inch, pull your takedown levers and release the slide. We'll do that in a minute. You have a slide catch here, which actually functions pretty nice. It's a nice little oversized one. It's actually really slim to the gun. So I wonder how that would work when you're firing and you have to reload. But considering the slide tucks in there, the magazine release or the slide release doesn't have to stick out so far because the slide pushes in. So I would assume that that does a nice function. As you can tell, weapon is unloaded and safe. We'll drop the magazine. Let's see here. Yeah, that works pretty good. I like that. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I mean, it's probably much more comfortable for concealed carry because it doesn't stick out far. Not that I've ever had any stick into my gut, but I'm sure it lends itself to that. As you can see, they got nice little texture in here between the takedown levers and the slide release there. So I like that. It gives a nice positive point for you to put a proper grip and build muscle memory by always touching that spot with your support hand. So that's good. You have a standard mag release here, which got some nice texturing to it. Sticks out pretty decent, but not too far, as you can see there. I mean, it does exactly what it has to do. So I like that. It's got nice texture into it, not too aggressive, not too rough, but simply hit the button and it does what it has to do. So we'll take that magazine out of there. It's got a label there. Everybody should read the warning labels. Fires without magazine. But either way, you should always be following the universal rules of gun safety in order to avoid any accidents. You see this trigger here? This trigger is very reminiscent to Glocks. Glocks have that pyramid style that kind of come to a point, and then you got the dingus here in the front, also known as a trigger safety. So when you go to fire this trigger, you must depress that. Let's see if you can see here. You must depress that little safety. If not, the trigger jams up there and will not fire. So that's good. It's a safety. It's another level of safety to make sure this thing doesn't fire accidentally. But you must depress that safety in order for this thing to fire. So I like that. The trigger looks like a Glock, but when you look at when you dry fire this thing, it's a lot of take up. But that trigger is short, sweet, crisp. And take a look at this reset. That is a fantastic trigger, guys. I can't wait to take this thing down to the range and see how that thing fires. But let's keep going on this thing here. As you can see on the top of the slide, you got a loaded chamber indicator there. So that's always good. When you have a round in the chamber, this thing will pop up and let you know that it's loaded. So that's a good feature because it's not something you have to defeat. It's not something you have to mess with, affect performance at all, but it does give you another level of safety to know the status of your weapon. But you should always know the status of your weapon, even if you didn't have one of these. But putting more of those things is always good. Now you have on the back of the slide here, let's go over this thing here. You have a striker indicator. So as you can see there, nothing there at the moment, but once you load this thing, it lets you know that you're ready to go. This thing is racked. So that's another level of safety. I think it's great. It doesn't get in the way of anything. It doesn't really change the function of the weapon, but it gives you one more level of safety so that you know the status of your weapon. That's always good. I'm all for it. And I find it interesting how many extra things they put on here without raising the price like other companies. So definitely a big fan of this thing. So watch when you hit here. That goes away. So that's pretty cool. I like that. You can always know by looking If this thing was ever appendix carry or strong side, you can always lift your t-shirt, check the status of your weapon. I mean, I think you should know if you got this thing cocked and ready to go. But in case you ever forget, you can pull your t-shirt up, take a quick glance, and you know. So these weapons come with a nice little decocker here. It's a very interesting design. It is a single action trigger, so it's not like when you pull the trigger, it's cocking it for you. So the decocker is not so much to release the trigger for you, but it is to drop the striker for you, as you can see here. See that? No need to press the trigger. So I don't think this is so much a decocker for releasing your trigger, because it's not hammer fired. So it's not to let down the hammer, it's to let down the striker. So what I think it's for is so that when you're taking down your weapon, which happens to be a huge complaint about Glock, or other companies complain about Glock, not exactly the Glock users. So I think when you want to take down your weapon, you can decock this thing. Then you can hit your levers and you never have to pull the trigger, and it pops right off like that. So put that there. So that's nice, because as you can tell, you see the weapon is loaded and ready to go. The trigger is ready to pull. Once you hit this thing, you got a dead trigger there. Nothing happens. So that's an interesting feature. I'm not sure how many people will use this thing. I know some people have put out on the internet that they think that that could be a safety hazard. I'm not sure why. I don't think that would be a safety hazard at all. I think it's a good little feature to have. I probably would never use it, just like a manual safety, but it's a nice little extra feature to have on there just in case. The more features for my money, the better. I like that. So that's the Canik TP9SA Mod 2. That's what she has to offer. As you can see here, these are the back straps. So you can go back to the case. You can take a punch and punch out that little pin there. Pop the back strap out, and you can change it to this smaller version. So depending on the size of your hands, they give you options. So I think that's nice. A lot of other companies do that too. Glock does that. So that's a nice little feature to have. The grip on here seems pretty good. As you can tell, they have nice little texturing here. And then they have like these little diamonds. These little diamonds that pop out here, which, I mean, they're not uncomfortable, but they seem like, I don't know, slightly more aggressive than I like. It feels weird holding it like this, but when it's in your hand, it's not a huge difference. Now these stick up a little more on the back strap, but these here are a little more muted. They're a little more flat. So it does feel pretty ergonomic. It's not bad. I like the grip on this thing. So as far as reliability, accuracy, once I get this thing down to the range, I'll give you guys an overview on that. What you see there, the trigger magazine release here can be switched over to the other side. Other than that, the barrel is a stainless steel barrel. The firing components are nickel plated for anybody that wants to know that. Also, it is a match grade 4.46 inch barrel. The overall length of this pistol is 7.5 inches. You got just under 6 inches in height here, and you got just under 1.5 inches in width here. So nothing crazy, standard full-size pistol. You can also purchase, these are the 18 round magazines. You can also purchase 20 round magazines if 36 rounds is not enough for you. So I think this is definitely a great value for the money. It's definitely a nice budget pistol. This is everything that you get in the box with it. They even have a little cutout here. In case you put a threaded barrel on this thing, you can still fit it in there. As you can tell, this thing is custom fit. If you put a red dot on it, you can still carry it in there nicely. So heading down to the range, I'll give you guys an overview on how this thing shoots. So here we are, guys, back down from the range. Took this thing, put a couple shots through it, probably about anywhere between 60 to 100 shots through it. This thing shot great. I actually like it. This trigger here is actually very, very, very nice to shoot. I really like this trigger. And this thing, considering that it's a $300 to $400 gun, the accuracy on this thing was great. My one little negative, I would say, which is probably a personal, shoot, let me see if I can't get it to zoom in. But I think the back sight, that notch on the back sights is a little big, but it was still shooting accurate. I took it 7 to 10 yards and I was able to touch holes with every shot. Not every shot, but most of the shots were able to either touch each other or shoot within a quarter inch of each other. So this thing was actually pretty nice. It shoots pretty accurate. I like it. The biggest positive about this is this trigger right here, I gotta say. This thing, once again, look at this. You bring it back. This take up is pretty easy to get by once you're shooting that thing. So, as you can see in the footage, it shot pretty flat as well, considering it's this big of a pistol. The length of the slide, which is pretty big, helps with the recoil also. It helps this thing from recoiling backwards. So it shot great. I would recommend this pistol to anybody. I didn't have any problems with this thing. Trigger was fantastic. So if anybody wanted to have this pistol, I mean, it's pretty big for a concealed carry, but if anybody wanted to have this in their collection as a full size, as a duty, I would recommend it, with one negative. There was one part in the shooting, which I'm sure you'll see in the footage. Either I'll put it in now, you've already seen it, where the slide was locked back. I put the magazine in, tapped it, the slide went forward, but did not load a round. That was very weird to me. I couldn't tell how it was doing that. Let's see if I can do it here on camera now. Yeah, it's not doing it now. It didn't seem like it was a safety issue. And maybe if you just don't hammer the magazine in, maybe I was tapping a little too hard, but I was doing a standard tap and it was going forward. But it didn't seem like it was causing any dangerous situations or circumstances. So it's not a big deal. So yeah, I would definitely recommend this to anybody. Great trigger, great budget pistol for the price that they're giving out. This thing has a lot of features to it. I would definitely try to get an optic on here because I'm not a fan of the sights, though they did do what they're supposed to do. That's it, guys. That's it from me. I'm out of here. Above all, stay informed, stay trained, get armed, and Jesus Christ is King. Taking prayer requests, feel free to send me anything. allthingcincoedc@gmail.com. Feel free to write me any petitions to put before the Lord on your behalf. Until next time, I'll catch you guys.